Okay, very good. That felt good, didn't it?
A little shaking. That's right. That's right. I see the seam start to split here.
So Robin's taking over our team. Okay. So that's what I want to know.
How are you? Patrick Wilson.
Rob right here. So nice to see you. Thank you. Very, very much. Nice to see you. So, I just get to help out the southern U.S. So.
Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you, Becky. How you doing, sir?
That my cue? Okay. All right. Hey, very good. So, I'm Colonel Lee Hartley. I'm the wing commander here at the 134th Air Refueling Wing. And on behalf of the 134th and our partners in this endeavor across the runway, Metropolitan Knoxville Airport Authority, I'd like to say welcome back to McGhee Tyson. And so just for a special day of just a milestone and a couple of really big special announcements as well that we're going to make today. We'll be announcing our signature sponsor. And then the other thing we'll be doing is running through our lineup of performers this year at the air show. So before we get into that, a couple of welcomes as well. Also want to welcome our community partners, Boys and Girls Club of the Tennessee Valleys here, and then also Second Harvest Food Bank of East Tennessee, cleverly constructed the Blue Angel. Right over here, right out of canned goods. So thanks for putting in the time for that. Really awesome. If you got to get a picture in front of that before you roll today. And with that, and then also back with us again from 2016, and then all the way back in 2000 is our announcer this year, Rob Ryder. So I'll say a little bit more about him in just a few minutes. But he is an icon in the industry, and when I heard he was coming back, man, I was just jumping up and down. So it's great. It absolutely is going to be a phenomenal air show. And so with that, I want to turn the floor over here to Patrick Wilson from the Metropolitan Knoxville Airport Authority, and I'll let him get on with the signature sponsor.
Colonel Hartley, thank you. So good morning, and on behalf of the Metropolitan Knoxville Airport Authority, the 9 members of our Board of Commissioners, and represented today we have our chair, Mr. Brian Simmons. Brian, would you please raise your hand? Thank you for being here. And on behalf of the 165 employees of the Airport Authority, welcome and thank you for joining us. You will hear us often reference partnerships in the air show. For the air show. There's dozens of community organizations that are required to come together and put on this air show and partner. And we have no greater partner from the Airport Authority than the women and the men who serve here at McGhee Tyson Air National Guard Base. That's a partnership that goes back for decades. It's in force every day, and we benefit from it every day at the airport. But at no time is that more evident than the activities at the air show. So Colonel, please pass on to all that you represent how much we appreciate you every day and all that happens here at the air base.
Absolutely, it's mutual.
So as the Colonel indicated, we have a great opportunity today to announce not only the acts, but also to announce another partner to the air show. And it's a great opportunity with great pleasure that I announce Denso Manufacturing Tennessee as our air show's premier sponsor. So I would like to ask Bob Booker, who is the Senior Manager of Government Affairs for Denso International America, to come forward. And Bob, let me thank you on behalf of both the Air National Guard organization and the Airport Authority organization, and on behalf of the community for being our premier sponsor for the air show.
Thank you, Patrick. So thank you, Patrick, for the kind introduction. And Colonel Hartley, we appreciate all that the military members that the military members on this base do in defense of our nation. we're proud that some of the soldiers and air personnel are also DENSO associates. So thank you for your service, sir. It's my honor and privilege to represent the 4,500 associates of DENSO Manufacturing Tennessee here today. As most of you know, DENSO Corporation is a producer of advanced mobility and technology systems for all major global automotive companies. Simply put, we manufacture products and systems that make vehicles safer, more enjoyable, and more environmentally friendly. We perform each of those functions here in Blount County each and every day. DENSO is also proud that our skills and technology enable us to develop other products that make our world better. One of those products is the often used QR code. I think everyone here uses the QR code probably on a daily basis. So when you use the QR code for parking passes at the air show this September, I'd ask you to remember that DENSO Associates developed that QR code, and DENSO Corporation not only developed it, but donated the technology so it'd make the world a better place. In the future, we hope to be producing systems for urban air mobility, multiple air mobility platforms. So Travis, I want to let you know that at an air show in the future, we may have vehicles from the Motor Mile out here participating in your air show. So something for us to all look forward to. Also, our DENSO associates reflect the East Tennessee region that we all call home. One example is what they accomplished during the early stages of the pandemic. When our nation experienced shortages of personal protective equipment, our DENSO associates went to work. In 7 days, they produced a design and prototypes for face shields that we sent to Blount Memorial Hospital, that they used them on a trial basis and gave us feedback, and we implemented their changes. Ultimately, our associates produced, and our company donated over 60,000 face shields to medical and other workers in 11 U.S. states and 3 countries. So, as you can tell, we're very proud of our associates, and I apologize for being a little selfish about those associates, because I recognize they're also your daughters, sons, siblings, parents, and neighbors. So, Emily Denson's here, our recruiting manager, so I would be in big trouble with her if I didn't mention that we're always looking for good new associates to our company, and anyone wishing to become a part of DENSO's team can visit densocareers.com. We love good team members, don't we, Emily? So, DENSO is proud to be the presenting sponsor for this year's Smoky Mountain Air Show. It's an opportunity for our company to say thank you to the wonderful region and community in which we live and work. We're thrilled to partner with event organizers, our elected officials, and other community leaders, including the Airport Authority and the base here, so Colonel, thank you again, sir, as well as 2 outstanding nonprofit organizations, 2 that all of us know real well, Second Harvest Food Bank and the Boys and Girls Clubs. So we look forward to working with each of you to make the 2022 Air Show the best ever. So thank you again, and we look forward to working together until September and really enjoying the Air Show in September. So thank you.
Okay, and a special thanks to DENSO, and pretty exciting for that as well. All right, so now back to Mr. Rob Ryder. So again, I told you before, he's an icon in the industry. I probably don't, the numbers would be staggering if we talked about air shows that you've announced, but it is east to west, from Miramar to Oceana, north to south, Michigan, all the way down into Florida, and then beyond, for sure.
About 300 since 06.
300 since 06. He's been awarded the Sword of Excellence from the International Council of Air Shows, and you may not know it as well, but he's also an Emmy Award winner. And so If you've ever been to an air show that he's announced, you know it's just a special gift that he has in making it come alive. He's a walking encyclopedia, and so I'm super excited to have you back here in East Tennessee. Rob, I'll give you the floor now. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Craig. Thank you. Thanks, Craig.
What a treat to be back. 2000 was the first time I came here, then came back in 2016, and here I am again. And when I got word that the show was interested in having me back, in the midst of cutting back my air show schedule, I wanted to make sure that Knoxville was on my short list because of the hospitality, because of the people, because of the show, because of the way it's run, because of the acts that you've got coming. But we surely want to once again thank the Second Harvest Food Bank and for what they've done and how they work so closely with the Boys and Girls Clubs around the area of East Tennessee. And as I introduce the acts, you will see the artwork that's on either side of you. And there were kids from the Boys and Girls Clubs who are currently in school who are not seeing this now, but they'll see the playback on the Facebook Live this afternoon, because they helped design the posters for each of the performers we'll be talking about. So again, I just want to say what a privilege it is to be here with you all and to introduce the number of acts and the kind of the award-winning and the quality of the show that you're going to have here on the 10th and the 11th of September. Starting with the Aeroshell Aerobatic team. There are 4 airplanes that fly in this act. They make a lot of smoke, they make a lot of noise. They fly World War II advanced trainers known as the North American T-6 Texan. And part of their music that I put together for them this last year had God Bless Texas, and they were in Mississippi, and one of the guys said, "Why you play God Bless Texas?" I said, "Because you're flying Texans." Because that's what the airplane was. Over literally tens of thousands of Allied pilots learned to fly in the T-6 Texan, and the performance and display that the Aeroshell Aerobatic team with all 4 members of the team will put on for you will be absolutely spectacular, so you won't want to miss that. They have won the 2 of the 3 huge and important performer awards in the air show industry, the Art Scholl Memorial Showmanship Award and the Bill Barber Award for Air Show Showmanship. And their artwork was done by Aria and Sophia. I love the sound of jets in the morning. I never get over it. I am the oldest 10-year-old at any air show I'm around. I just have too much time. Representing your United States Army with artwork on their poster by Janaya and, by Mia and Jocelyn. And they are the U.S. Army Parachute Team, the Golden Knights. Since 1959, they've been jumping. They adopted their name in 1961, and members of the Golden Knights have graced air shows with their precision parachuting for decades and decades. They will do something in the show before they jump. They will throw out some wind drift indicators, some streamers they call them, and the team leader will have his head out the window. They'll go right over the drop zone. They'll throw these streamers out. Pieces of crepe paper about 15, 18 feet long, about 9 inches wide, and have a little bit of 1/4-inch dowel rod in the bottom to give them some weight so that they see which way the wind blows them. They come back, and then they do a little mental math and said, okay, if it's going to blow that way, we're going to go upwind this way to jump out, so they have a better chance of landing on the target. Sometimes those wind drift indicators go into the crowd. We tell you not to catch them, but if they do land in the crowd, they're yours to keep. Once upon a time, a 14-year-old kid got one of those streamers, and he said, I'm going to be a Golden Knight. And he did. He became one of the Golden Knights. It's so cool to hear stories like that, because the inspiration that all of these aviators and acts will do for people who are here, it might spur them on to a great career either in the military or in aviation, but also give them the idea that they can dream, they can achieve those dreams. That's the U.S. Army Parachute Team, the Golden Knights. There's a guy who runs a bed and breakfast in Northeast Alabama. His name is Greg Koontz. Now, why would we have a bed and breakfast deal going on here at an air show? Because the purpose of his bed and breakfast in Northeast Alabama is Greg Koontz does aerobatic and safety training in single-engine light aircraft. Greg Koontz is another award winner. He won the Bill Barber Award for Showmanship. That's given by the World Air Show News at the big Experimental Aircraft Association AirVenture, the world's largest aviation celebration. He won that award. He flies a super decathlon. He probably will fly some other stuff too, and it's a good chance that he will assume another name at some point during the show, and I don't want to give too much away about what Clem Cleaver's, I wasn't supposed to say that, Clem Cleaver was going to do. So Greg Koontz, with artwork by Janaya and Evan, and Greg Koontz Air Shows will be here. I think he's going to fly 2 or 3 times in the show. A guy who has flown nearly 80 different types of airplanes, from Piper Cubs all the way up to the big B-29 bomber, the largest bomber in World War II, is a guy named Matt Younkin. He's a 3rd-generation aviator. His dad, his late father, was a great airshow performer. His grandfather, Jim Younkin, developed the Century and True Track autopilots that made a huge difference for aviators all over the world. Is that a citation? Is that what that was? Oh, if we can only all be in there, in the left seat. I love that stuff. Matt Younkin flies a 1943 Twin Beach. The Twin Beach is an airplane that was a trainer. It was a light cargo aircraft. It was a liaison aircraft in World War II and remained in production by Beechcraft in Wichita, Kansas up until, I want to say, the early or mid-70s. It was, after the war, the Learjet of its day. But he will fly this thing. It was never intended to fly aerobatics, yet he will fly this thing upside down and just impress the daylights out of you with a pitch-perfect and wonderful coordination with the music that he flies to. Matt Younkin is a great individual and a good friend. He is also an award winner. He has won the Art Memorial Showmanship Award, which is given by the International Council of Air Shows, and the Bill Barber Award. Then, representing your United States Air Force, an airplane that just won't go away, right? The Hog is what they call it. The Warthog, they actually call it the A-10 Thunderbolt II, built by Fairchild Republic. It was an airplane that almost didn't get built, and every time they've tried to retire the A-10 Thunderbolt II, it finds a mission that keeps it viable. And it is postulated that the A-10, even though it's been around since the 70s, will be still flying with the United States Air Force come 2040. It's slow, it's ugly, it's amazing, and it has the biggest cannon on any airplane that's ever been built, and it's that GAU 8 Avenger 30mm cannon, fires 4,000 rounds a minute. It will not be firing any rounds here during the show, but we'll hear sound effects and it'll demonstrate what it does. It's really cool. So you'll want to see the A-10 demo. Hayden, Gator is the call sign. So Gator will be flying the jet for us here, the A-10 Thunderbolt II. The artwork on the poster is by Vivian and Roman. We have aircraft from the Commemorative Air Force. It was after World War II that Lloyd Nolan, back in, I believe, 1956, bought a P-51 Mustang with the hope that he could keep the heritage of what airmen did in World War II alive. And now, with over 170 different airplanes at different wings and bases around the United States, the Commemorative Air Force keeps that dream alive. They keep them flying. So we'll be seeing the Commemorative Air Force. And artwork on the poster by Chloe and Catherine. And then we have, of course, the United States Navy's Flight Demonstration Squadron, the Blue Angels. 1946, 76 years they've been in existence, and I've had the opportunity to be part of the training of the narrators for that team. I go out to their winter training every year in El Centro, California, and I have for about a dozen years. And I see this team at work. They fly focused, they practice. It is said that practice makes perfection. Well, they go one step further with that. They say practicing perfection might get you perfection, because there is never a flight where they are flying perfectly. They are so focused in what they do, with 120 training flights prior to the time they hit their first public demonstration. And when we see them in September, they are going to be flying amazingly close together with an 18-inch wingtip to canopy separation. It is an amazing team. They're a great bunch of guys and ladies, and I hope you will be able to see each and every maneuver, and as you see them, don't let anybody leave before the show's over, because it is the picture of precision that they present, and representing your United States Navy and Marine Corps is unsurpassed. The Blue Angels artwork is by Dorothy and Isabel. That's the lineup for the show. There may be some additions, we don't know. Sometimes things flex a little bit, but whatever it is, you're going to see these acts here, and it will all be under the control of a Sword of Excellence winner. By the way, the U.S. Navy Blue Angels won the Sword of Excellence, and that's the highest award an airshow professional can receive in the airshow industry. They won it in 2007. Another sword winner is the man who keeps the airplanes apart and the show together. He is Wayne Boggs. Now, if that sounds familiar to you, Wade Boggs, it's Wade's brother, Baseball Hall of Famer Wade Boggs' brother. But Wayne is the #1 guy in our industry for as an airshow air boss. He's the guy that makes sure you see the right thing at the right time and nobody gets in anybody else's airspace in this huge stage in the sky that we'll have right here at the airport. That is the lineup for the Smoky Mountain Air Show for 2022. It is a privilege again for me to be here, and I want to thank again all the folks who were part of this thing to make it possible, and thanks to the airport, and lots of thanks to you, Colonel, and also to you, Patrick, and to you, Bob. Thank you very, very much. And thank you all. We're going to hold, if you want, if there are any interviews, we're going to go right over by the KC-135 Strata tanker that's here underneath the Smoky Mountain Air Show logo for any additional interviews. By the way, when you drove in here, you saw an airplane that was sticking up sideways. That airplane was the F-104 Starfighter. It was nicknamed the Missile with a Man in it. It went over 2 times the speed of sound. It was based here and had an incredible sound that has not been duplicated by any other jet in history of aviation, I think. Would you agree with that, Colonel?
I think so,
yeah. Yeah, so that heritage is being continued with these KC-135s. They built about 800 of these airplanes between 1957 and 1965. 400 have the new engines on it. But look at the size of the engine nacelles and how close the inboard engines are to the ground. The pilots who fly these airplanes are so skilled that they bank no more than 4 degrees each way. Otherwise, they'd be scraping those engines. You've got some great people here in Tennessee flying these jets for you. And it's just a treat to be back at the Smoky Mountain Air Show. Thank you all very much.
Well, I'm sure everybody here is ready for it to go, right? I'm fired up now. It's going to be a special day, September 10th and 11th, this fall, right here at McGhee Tyson. And so when it all boils down to it, I guess my own personal hope is I'll tell you a little story. In 1976, there was a young man who went to an air show in Texas. And and that's when I decided that that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. And so I'm thinking I'm going to make a career out of it at some point. Anyway, thanks for coming today. Look forward. Hope everybody has a great afternoon. We'll look forward to seeing you in September.